last week was really good exercise. I thought that it allowed us to concentrate on skills, a little bit of fitness, and just getting our mindset from a psychological perspective ready for what's going to confront us on Sunday afternoon. To work with the group of players, I think 35 eventually when Steve came out, and obviously Aaron Shingler being called up as well. We had numbers in training and we were able to work on aspects of the game which are going to be important next Sunday. Hooky has gone back obviously to France over the weekend. His ability to play 10, he's been playing much more consistently there for Perpignan, and he's been playing well. He's obviously enjoying playing week in, week out, learning from playing week in, week out, which is so important as a decision maker in the game. And we're fortunate to have someone like Hooky and Steve in terms of their experience and as a senior player, because their involvement certainly rubs off on players around them. And I think that Hooky, whilst him and Mike and Lee were there only for a small duration, it was important that they were there, and they sort of inputted into the session particularly well. I think that Mike and Hooky and Lee Byrne seemed to be in a good mindset when they turned up, obviously wanting to be a part of what they were in Rugby World Cup, and I think they've got huge incentives to deliver what they delivered during the summer. And it's important that the standards that were set back in July, August, September and October are continued, particularly in the Six Nations. I'm sure you've seen regional rugby this year when if you have one or two goal kickers you might win games, and I think that you need to have choice and the strength and depth in your goal kicking, short distance and long distance. And it's fair to say Lee Halfpenny's long distance kicking has been exceptional. Just a shame it was just that half a metre against France. But that's different pressures. Kicking from 50 and 60 metres, as you well know, and kicking closer is a far greater test of character and skill and mindset. And Lee, which is great to see that he set the standard. I think that he certainly kept the Blues in a couple of Heineken Cup games and regional games since coming back, and that puts pressure on Warren Gatland and Neil Jenkins, because obviously kicking was an area which everyone has highlighted since Rugby World Cup. It's going to be important in the Six Nations onwards. Kicking decides international games, and it's good to have Hooky, Steve Jones, Lee Halfpenny and Rhys Priestland, and that's the strength and depth and options that we have, long or short. We've always said about the Heineken Cup being a measure of players' quality, and Ashley has performed really well in the Heineken Cup. Saracens pretty good side with the centres that they play, and he was comfortable against Saracens in attack and defence. And I think that the important thing is obviously the next 48 hours and making that sort of combination and decision really in terms of what we expect Ireland to bring into that centre, creativity and balance as well, in physicality. Whoever starts goal kicking, they're good enough to kick for Wales, whether that's Steve Jones, James Hook, Lee Halfpenny or Rhys Priestland. I think we have to look at that strength and depth and be confident that we've got that ability to have 4 good frontline kickers. We put a lot of skill element into it, and there wasn't much sort of running round and contact out in Poland. It was pretty much, as I said earlier, looking at the MOT of the body and making sure the boys were physically and mentally freshened up from the Heineken Cup campaign, and I think we've achieved that. The boys have turned up this morning in good shape, and obviously this afternoon session and tomorrow is going to be critical time for probably all 3 or 4 players. I think when you look back, when we beat them at the Millennium Stadium and England turned up ready to take the Grand Slam, that's the Irish team that we expect to turn up on Sunday. The intensity. Ireland's a tough place to play, whether it's Lansdowne, the Aviva or Croke Park. It's a tough place to play, and obviously when England went out there to win the Grand Slam, they got blown away 24-8, and the intensity of 1 to 15 from 1 minute to 80 minutes, that's the Irish side that we're anticipating that will turn up. Look, I think they're going to be tactically astute. I think when you look at the Irish backline, and everyone has spoken about how well Munster, Ulster, Leinster are playing. they're certainly going to feed off that confidence, and they're going to take that into the Irish camp. They've got quality world-class players. I think they'll miss Brian O'Driscoll. I think Brian's a huge miss for them. Fortunate to play alongside the guy in 2001 for the Lions. And not only his influence, what he does with the ball, what he does without it. He's really a great defensive player. And having a senior player missing, I think any international side in world rugby would miss probably one of the greatest centres in world rugby over the last decade. Number of tries he scored in the championship. It's like a Shane Williams, and everyone has spoken about us missing Shane Williams. Brian O'Driscoll is a big miss for Ireland, and we have to take advantage of that.